Let's explore a powerful idea through the story of a man named Orin. The ancient Stoic philosopher Cleanthes once wrote, "Lead on God and destiny to that goal fixed for me long ago. I will follow and not stumble. Even if my will is weak, I will soldier on." This idea of accepting what we cannot change is at the heart of our story. In the village of Aerthos, nestled between a mountain and a river, lived a mill owner named Orin. His life was one of quiet, predictable work, tied to the rhythm of his water wheel. But for weeks, the rain fell without end. The river, once his partner, began to swell into a churning, muddy beast. A cold fear took hold of Orin, the fear of a flood. He began to struggle fiercely against a disaster that hadn't even happened yet. He obsessed over the weather, spending sleepless nights staring into the rain, picturing the worst. He saw his mill collapsing, the great wheel torn away, and his family's winter grain turning into a worthless, soggy mess. He was consumed by anxiety. "If the river takes the mill, what will become of us?" he'd say to his neighbor Dorian. "All our labor gone, we'll be ruined." Dorian, a man whose face was etched with the wisdom of years, replied calmly, "Orin, the river is rising. That is its nature. You are spending more energy fighting an imagined future than preparing for the present." But Orin didn't listen. He saw Dorian's calm as a lack of foresight. He started a desperate, futile project, trying to build a small stone wall against the rising water. He worked until his hands bled, hauling sandbags even as the river flowed past his efforts. He wasn't preparing for the river as it was. He was battling a phantom disaster in his own mind. His mental exhaustion was far worse than any physical toll. Then one morning, the flood arrived. It was a sudden, violent surge, exactly as he'd feared, yet somehow different. The mill was overwhelmed. In that moment, as the water poured over the machinery, a strange peace settled over Orin. He realized his struggle was over. He couldn't stop the river, just as he couldn't stop the seasons from turning. There was no more argument to be made, no more suffering to be wrung from what if. He simply tied the last sacks of flour to the high rafters, led his family to safety, and watched. 3 days later, the water receded. The mill was damaged, but not destroyed. The frame stood firm. The future would be difficult, filled with months of repair, but it was clear. Walking through the mud, Orin understood. His greatest suffering hadn't come from the flood itself, but from the weeks he spent fighting it in his mind. The moment he embraced the inevitable, the moment the flood came and he simply reacted, the pain of his resistance vanished. As another ancient thinker said, "Whoever embraces necessity counters wise." The flood may have destroyed his easy life, but it couldn't hurt his spirit. It had simply set his next goal, the long, patient work of rebuilding. By following the inevitable, his heart, finally, stopped stumbling. If this story resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content that can help us navigate life's challenges. Thank you for watching.